What is good, guys and girls of YouTube? I am Justin Omoe, and today we are going to be talking about two things in this one. We're going to talk about the piano roll, if I go over here and click piano roll, as well as the playlist. If you did not watch the last video, you have to watch it if you want to learn FL Studio to get in tune with what we're doing today. So if we hit play, this is what we had from yesterday in the last video. Why am I saying yesterday? Notice that with the exception of this sound here, there's not much melody. So if I hit play, it says drums. There's no melodics in this song, which we will be creating right now. Let's start with our favorite, the bass. I use the 3x oscillator, and then I low these down, all these things right here. So the volumes and then the chorus, I lower it down. And yeah, the piano roll is where we're going to create the melody. So if I right click, go to piano roll, there it is. So in the piano roll, we have this grid as well as a piano rolled up. For those who are still not in tune with what the heck is going to go on, we're going to place the notes of the melody that we want inside of the steps of the pattern here into here. So let's say, for example, we want this bass note and we want this to go throughout there. So as you see, half of it is played so far. This is one measure. Cool. The next melody, the next part of the bass, we'll just pencil in. So as you see, when it reaches to the next note, it will play the next note that you input. So cool. So if I were to do something like highlight this and then shorten it like that, shorten, I'm going to this side here and just dragging. Cool. If I were to pencil in more notes, like for example, and same thing here. Yeah, basically it's gonna play what we input. To pencil in, you left click. If you are not able to be as free as a bird like this, you have to change your snap settings by going over here to this snap icon and changing it accordingly. For me, I have it set to 1/4 of a beat. So every 4 pieces will equal a beat. So 1, 2, 3, 4. That's, 1/4 of a beat. If I put it to half of a beat, then there's only 2. I know it's kind of hard to see, but I don't know. Hopefully you can see that better. Yeah. But yeah, it's on 1/4 of a beat, so I'm able to be more loose with my notes. I'll be able to put them where I want. So that's it for the bass. Let's talk about another sound. Let's change this to something like let's just put the keys for now. So if you have a MIDI keyboard and you set it up from the introduction video, this is where we're going to put a little bit of piano playing to use. So yeah. The hell was that sound? So if you hit play and then press on the keyboard while you're highlighted on this, and we're in the piano roll if you want. You'll be able to play the keys and create a melody that you have in your mind. So yeah. I don't know, that's what I got in my brain. You can hit the record button, this button right here, or press R on the keyboard, then hit space, hit space bar, get the countdown, and then play. And as we see here, because we have it set to 1/4 of a beat, it snaps these the notes that we played to these 1/4 of a beats. If you set it on none, it'll be exactly where you press the key for the sound, and it'll show up in that exact spot. So if I press R again to turn off the recording, I'll hit play. Yeah, it basically plays what we created and the duration of it. If I hit Control Q, that'll quickly quantize, which means it'll stretch out to the end of the snap here for those notes. So if I put this on beat, hit Control Q, you can see it stretches and quantizes to that snap, which was 1 bar. If I go to half a beat, you can see it made it louder right there. Holding Control and scroll to zoom in, zoom out, by the way. If you're looking at these things down here and wonder what the hell is it, I'll go ahead and explain real quick. This is the velocity of the notes. So depending on how fast you press the keys on your keyboard, your MIDI keyboard, it will record in those velocities. So if you press it very slowly or softly like this, like that, you can see that it played really low. It's not per se volume, but it's velocity, the intensity of the hit on the keyboard. So for example, piano keys are basically strings, and then pressing on the key will hit a hammer on the string. So that is basically the way a piano works, for those who have no idea. The softer you press it and not as fast, as slow and softer, the lightly it'll tap that string. So as you see right there, I slap my hand softly and then fast and hard. It's producing different sounds. That's what velocity is. So in this case, we could adjust the velocities to how soft or slow or how fast and intense we want it. If you remember in the last video about the channel rack, if I right click and go to piano roll, remember I adjusted the velocities in the channel rack with this button here? It's the same thing. So as you see right there, that is being affected there. So yeah, same thing goes with if we adjust the pitches. So if we go to note pitch and then we go to the piano, the keys we played just now, do D, do do, do D, do D. Yeah, that's basically it right there. So it's a mini piano roll, compact piano roll in that sense. Awesome stuff, right? Some extra things you could learn about for the piano roll is, let me go back to the keys right here. You could hold the left control and then click and drag to highlight these keys right here. You can also do that by clicking on the select tool or pressing E on the keyboard. E. So there we go, we have it selected, which is pretty dumb because after you select it, you gotta go back to the pencil tool to be able to click and drag. But yeah, this is good to highlight stuff if you want to move things away or maybe shift them up or down on the piano roll. So let's say we move it up a good octave. That's all the way up to the next C. You can also hit Control and down to drop it a whole octave if you want. I pressed it twice. Control up. If you want to hide this, you could right click this or drag it down. But yeah, it looks kind of naked without it. This is pretty much a piano roll that you got to get and understand there. But yeah, there's other functions that you could learn if you hit F1 on the I got internet. So if you hit F1, a window will open on your thing and it will show you everything for the piano roll. It tells you all the tools that you could learn, the mute functions and stuff like that. This is where you'll be able to learn more. So yeah, more than what I'm teaching you right now. For example, mute. Left click on notes to mute them. This is the mute tool. Left click and drag to mute multiple notes. Right click to delete notes. Right click and hold on the background to open the slice tool. That's pretty much all you have to know for the basics of the piano roll. So as you've seen, I use basically the basics to create this melody for y'all. Alright, we know about it. Next up, let's talk about the playlist here. So as I mentioned in the first video of this series, the playlist is where you're going to be able to put your little patterns in, as well as create the song that you want in here. So you see why these snap functions are useful. So if I put on 1/4 of a beat, you can see that's not pretty. It's not in line like that. You know, that's why we use the bar function to make it snap to the bar, make it good like that. Cool. So for example, let's say we want to split this pattern up. You could go here to pattern 1, click this drop down, and go to split by channel. So now we have, if I go and click here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different patterns. So if I scroll, you can see it has those patterns there. Additionally, if we go back to this browser part, let me go to the beginning. Remember the current project, which for some reason is not showing in here. I don't know why. But if you go to the current project patterns, you can see they turn into their own individual patterns. By default, you'll see something like this at the side of your thing, which I'm not a fan of for myself, but if you want it, then cool. This is showing the patterns here as well, so you could click and drag those patterns out. So like that. Cool. Alt P is to hide that. For this example, I'll just show it that we dragged all 5 of those out. If you don't have that open and you want to put in the patterns, you have to go to the right patterns here, like this for don't matter, like there. Or you can scroll down to the next one. So it says kick freaked. So that plays that pattern there. Snare, the oscillator, and the keys. One thing I didn't mention for the channel rack, which I should have, if you right click and go to rename in color, you could rename these things. So I'll name this hats. Middle click again. I'll go here and change the color to something like green. So there we go. We have renamed the stuff. The same thing you could do in the channel rack, you can also do here. So if I rename this hat and change this to, let's change this to red or purple or whatever. You can see that this is a different color than this. It doesn't have to be if you want, but yeah. So the pattern name HH don't matter right here. It has its own color as well. So let's change this to blue and just keep that same name. You can see it's blue there, and yeah, everything's different. You could right click here and go to auto name clips, and now the hat, the pattern hat is called a hat, and it's red. Awesome. You can also select that there. Cool. Now everything's red. But yeah, you could rename tracks into the things you want it to be, or you could right click and then auto name to have it named as the pattern there. And look at a little icon showed up. For the icon, for those who don't know, you could click this drop down and you could select the icon that you would want that'll fit nicely. So let's say we want the icon 3. So 3 is showing up there. Let's say we want the icon, since this is a snare, let's use the snare icon, the snare drum. For those who don't know, this is a snare. You can look over here at the top left and it'll show you the names of it. It'll show you a lot of stuff actually. Let's say you want the snare to be green. Awesome. There we go. So that's how you can organize things to your names. So these patterns are the patterns from the same first pattern. If I go here and press play, to create a song now out of these patterns that we have right here, we could basically paint them in like such. I have the brush tool selected. You could click on the pattern here to change to that pattern. So let's say, for example, 3x oscillator, click and drag. You could also put these in different tracks. For example, here we have the 3x oscillator in this track. I know it's a little weird, but you could put them in different spots if you want. For me, I like it organized and keeping it right there. So here we have the same pattern, the same, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 patterns repeated 4 times. So 1, 2, 3, 4 for those who can't count. Disclude these sounds if you want or not. So for example, let's just take off the kick for this one and the hat. So notice the keys are gone. Next one's not gonna have the kicks. And then the last one's not gonna have the hats or the keys. How about we do one with just the snare and the kick now? Cool. And that's how you're gonna create differences into your song to make a song. That's basically the piano roll. I almost forgot what I talked about today. The piano roll for adding melodies. So if I go here and go to keys right there, you can see the piano roll melody stuff. Put a 1/4 of a beat. We learned that, as well as we learned the playlist. If you got any questions, let me know. If you feel confused, comment in the comment section below, and maybe I could help you out, or if not me, somebody else in the community can help you out. Let me know what you guys and girls think. Hit thumbs up if you like the video. Hit subscribe if you want to stick along and see more videos from your boy Justin Omoe. And yeah, last video we'll talk about will be about the mixer. So yeah, one more video. Thank you for watching. My name is Justin Omoe. With that being said, peace, and have yourselves a damn good one. I'm out.